right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Casey Cole Corbett, and thank you for joining us with this wonderful podcast that we're going to have with Susan Sheehan. And I'm going to pull her on stage and let her introduce herself. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, I bet some of my U.S. followers are wondering, what is that accent? Where is she from? So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born in New Zealand, so I'm Kiwi born. I've been living on the Gold Coast in Australia for 25 years, 27 years. Gee, I'd have to do some counting backwards. But I have 2 ex-American husbands, so I've spent quite a lot of time in America.
Wow. Okay. So you're used to my lack of accent.
And so I just think I have my own. I think I have my own accent. I've never liked the Australian twang. So we used to do elocution lessons at the dinner table. Oh. How now, brown cow? So my kids didn't develop that Australian twang.
That's excellent.
But my daughter lives in LA. So I'm as comfortable in America as what I am here.
That's wonderful. That's really good. Now, you and we met, oh my gosh, was it 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Yeah. And everyone, I was doing a little program specifically for people that, young adults that were kind of adult orphans. They were in the foster care system and they aged out of it. And for some reason, I just had this collection around me at my gym. And so I was working with them and just kind of befriending them. And some of them didn't even have like a place to spend Thanksgiving. So they came to my house for Thanksgiving and birthday parties and that kind of stuff. And so it was really neat. And I noticed that they had they did not have anything close to a wealth mindset. And so I would bring up things like Rich Dad, Poor Dad or different, and they were just clueless of that. And I said, well, if I did a program for you and got some guest speakers, would you attend it? And they did. And so I posted on one of the sites for speakers that I'm on. And Susan just jumped on it and made a wonderful appearance. I think you were our first speaker out of 12, a 12-week series that we did. And they just loved you. They just ate you up. Your energy and what tell everyone why you're a coach, obviously. What is your background? What do you do now? How'd you get into it?
Oh, you know what? That's a question that I get asked a lot because a lot of people, have career shifts or lifestyle shifts into coaching. So I think the question that I've been asked the most over the last couple of years is, so when did you roll over into coaching? It's like, there's no rolling here. I'm just growing up in it because that's that's literally what I did. I've been a coach my entire career. I started off in fitness, moved into wellness. I mean, I've literally just grown up within the coaching industry. So, I realized very early on in my career, if I was teaching an aerobic class, back then we used to do aerobic classes in the local hall, and then I've taught aerobic classes in 3 different countries. So I was the aerobic queen. Queen. I've also done aerobic competitions at national level in New Zealand, and I did aerobic marathons here in Australia. I've done aerobic displays. I've taught aerobics. I've trained people in teaching aerobics. So I did a lot of work around aerobics. But one of the things that I identified very early on in my career is that it wasn't just about the fitness. The people needed guidance in all areas of who they were. So I started coaching before coaching was a thing and before people paid for coaching.
Wow.
So I've literally just grown up in the industry. So I've grown up within the coaching industry as well as also being coached in the industry. So I've grown my business in coaching. I've grown up in the business of coaching, and I've been coached by some of the best in the world because I made a decision that one day I woke up and realized that the next piece of my coaching journey needed to be understanding business. I had all of the wellness, the nutrition, the fitness, the mindset, the brain training. I had all of that absolutely down pat. I'm an expert in all of that. Then I thought, okay, I need to know business. So I went into business and I thought, am I going to go to school or am I going to learn from coaches? who have got businesses that I run, and I chose to go down the coaching route. So I think that, when it comes to the industry, I'm pretty much an authority on the world of coaching.
Wow, that's excellent. And I've learned a
Yeah.
lot from you in our interactions over the years too.
Vice versa.
Thank you. most people that are following this probably know that, I've been a counselor for almost 30 years, and I switched over to coaching as a much more practical model for some of the reasons you just kind of hit. There's that formal education and book smartness, but coaching kind of gets you just exactly what you need, tailored to you, practical information. I think wouldn't you agree that one of our biggest jobs is that we don't provide information, we screen out information. There's too much information out there. We have to kind of tell people what to ignore.
And that's definitely real when it comes to the world of menopause at the moment.
Yeah, let's get into that. I think that a lot of people feel surprised by it. It's almost like old age. I have a friend who's struggling with some, and he's like, you had all these years and you didn't do anything to prepare. It's like, and then I think menopause could be that way too. A lady could be, and there's also male menopause we can get into as well. Just totally blindsided by it. What is it? What is the misconceptions about menopause? Can you talk to us about that, and also talk to us about how you got started in this so many years ago?
Well, I was in my mid-40s at the time, and I was newly married, and we were both quite peak performers when it came to exercise. My husband had also been an elite athlete, so health and fitness was really high up there as a value for us. My nickname was Muscle, so that's how lean I was. And yet I just woke up one morning. I woke up one morning having hot flushes and emotional. It's like, oh my gosh. And he used to say to me, "You're so hot." And I'm thinking, the only time that I've ever been that hot in my body is when I was pregnant. So three pregnancy tests later, I know it was older, but a lot of women fall pregnant in their 40s, right? But yeah, no pregnancy test. So my thinking was, if I feel this way and I know how to do it, how do women feel that don't have my knowledge and experience on health and wellness for the body? So I thought, I'm going to figure out what's going on here. So I just went in search of answers, and I found a woman in the States who had been on a similar journey. She was a lot taller than me. She was quite a statuesque woman. Her husband was the marketing manager of a nutritional company. So they put science to work. Not only did they ask questions, but they scientifically went in to see what is going on with a woman's body. She started to expand this way. And anyway, so she researched the science, and because they had the scientist in the company that he was the marketing manager for, she had access. She had access to ask questions. Cut a long story short, they found the answers. She changed her body. I'm not going to say overnight, but she changed her body. Her husband saw the changes in her. The company saw the changes in her, the results that they got, and they created a program that they launched around America and made millions of dollars from it, because there was a lot of 40-plus women experiencing the same stuff, right? So I relieved my symptoms of what I was feeling in 4 weeks.
Wow.
So I came back. Wow. I came back to Australia, and I thought, okay, there's 40-plus women here, lots of them. there's lots of them. So over the next, the years go past here. So over the next little bit of a time, I created what was then called the Menopause Relief Advisor Program. What I had to do, and it took a while to create it because I wasn't able to pick this program up and bring it over to this part of the world. There was strict guidelines with some of the components within this product, but I did realize that what I learned from that is that our age goes up, and this is a very grade 7 language perspective of it, but it's also the truth. Our age goes up, the working of our body declines. Every system in our body slows down. And that slowing down causes an imbalance. That imbalance causes symptoms. And so the symptoms are a sliding scale. the most common symptom is weight gain, because when everything in the body slows down, the body doesn't burn fat so efficiently, and we lose a pound of muscle a year. So if you've got the body fat going up, lean muscle declining, then, this is why people, men and women over 40, 50, they have an increase in body fat. And I'm not talking some, everyone does. Doesn't matter whether you're this big or this big. Everybody between 40 and 60 will have an increase in body fat or a shift in body composition at some point, because of what's going on biologically. So I set about replicating this program here in Australia. I called it the Menopause Relief Advisor Program, and I went search of the components that were in this box so I could create my own box of goodies. So that's including protein and nutritional supplements, exercise. The other thing that I realized that was necessary that this other program didn't have was the coaching component of it. We needed to help women deal with what was going on here and emotionally. So then we brought in the coaches, and we trained coaches to work with the program, and we took it around Australia and online.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then it went in the cloud. I just thought, okay, something else popped up, and that went in the cloud. And then 6 months ago, it raised up again, but it's so much bigger now. Everybody's talking about it.
That's excellent. Well, I can imagine that they would, especially, you said you alleviated your symptoms in 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks.
What did you do? Can you mind sharing some tips or something?
Yeah, no. In this box, with the age going up and the working of the body going down, the body needs certain elements to then function at that higher level. Okay, the body loses certain elements as it goes through the shift. Some hormones, they stop activating. Some activate too much. The 3 main hormones in this area are progesterone, estrogen, and yes, testosterone. Women need testosterone as well for the whole breakdown of the process. So that's number one. We need to find a way to balance our hormones. Now, I don't do medication. So as much as what I know medication is necessary for lack of lifestyle or death, I mean, there are times when medication is necessary. But I personally will always look at natural options before I will choose medication. Now, you can get bioidentical hormones, which literally are produced in a laboratory, and they're identical to the hormone molecular compound of what our body produces. But you can also get that same compounds from Mother Nature. So I went on and I added a natural progesterone cream that was made out of yams, and that helped to balance up the progesterone, help to balance up the estrogen progesterone deficit. The other thing that's important to balance up these hormones naturally is to have a high level of legumes and more of a vegetarian diet than a high meat diet, because there's such a thing in certain foods in the vegetarian world that have what's called phytoestrogens, which mimic the estrogen response to the hormone estrogen, but it has a weaker effect. So again, it's balancing up the estrogen progesterone story, less the symptoms.
Wow.
So that was one thing. That was one thing I did. Exercise I already had down pat, because that was part of what I was doing, and then I had to add nutritional supplements.
So I assumed that exercise would be a big component of it, and like you said, that was something that you were already the dancing queen.
Yes.
And the name of Olivia Newton-John is playing in my head right now, but I can see you doing that.
Well, just visualize. I when I was younger, I used to follow Jane Fonda in the lounge room. So
Yeah. So we got so you've hit exercise a bit, definitely some supplements, and then some dietary changes. And this, you saw results in 4 weeks?
In 4 weeks.
Wow.
In 4 weeks. Now, I because my body was also in good condition, I had a quick response.
Yeah.
So, so for people that really may not have had the strict lifestyle that we had, I mean, we love sugar and we loved, we love pizza. So it wasn't that we were obsessive about it, but our general day-to-day living was healthy, and we exercised every day. That there was a shift in the exercise, because the immune system doesn't like high intensity exercise. So I learned as I was going through over the next few years that I had to adjust the intensity of exercise I did, because to keep a healthy balance, it's got to be more low impact. So the immune system prefers exercise to be low impact. So I stopped teaching high energy fitness classes. I didn't work with a trainer anymore with boxing. I also got my black belt in Taekwondo. So I used to really enjoy that high intensity. I had to stop working with a trainer, and I had to do my own training so I could monitor my energy, because I couldn't be pushed past that certain point. Does that make sense?
Wow. It does.
Yeah.
Now, does it have anything to do with like an inflammatory response because of injury?
No, just how the aging, just how the body, as we're going through this next phase of life, how it starts to respond. And well, inflammatory is huge, of course. I mean, inflammation is like that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
A simple response to that is when the body is hurt internally or externally. Inflammation is the first stage of healing. And you can see that happen if you cut yourself. If you cut yourself, the blood clots, and then the inflammation appears, and then it goes away because the wound is healed. And it's the same process internally. But if that inflammation is not healed, then it causes chronic inflammation, and all illness is caused from chronic inflammation. All
Wow.
illness is a result of chronic inflammation. So being able to reduce inflammation through various natural ways that we can do it. Food is a big one. Inflammation is increased in the body with all processed food. All processed food causes inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
Stressors in life cause inflammation in the body. So if you're prone to a certain genetic disposition, then and you've also got a high level of inflammation in the body, then we now know genetically that we can override genetics with a healthier lifestyle. But if we're exposed to a genetic profile that is unhealthy, and we have an unhealthy lifestyle, then you're just on a downward curve to illness and death.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I know that's extreme, but I talk extreme because there's reality in it.
Makes sense. One thing I'm really interested to hear from you is the emotional component of menopause. And as a counselor, that's kind of something I focused on for almost the last 30 years. And so what does your program do that can help people navigate those emotional challenges during the menopause?
Well, the body's so connected, right? It's so
Right.
connected. I mean, we have 7 principles that we work with that cover all of it. Now, the first one is the power of thought. And the power of thought is we have to change the way we think. What we could do yesterday to be fit, strong, and healthy doesn't work anymore today. We have to stop. We have to really just, if you've got like for me, for example, because I was committed to being healthy, fit, strong, and healthy, I knew that I was going to be committed to be fit, strong, and healthy. I just had to learn a new way of doing it. Okay. So the first shift is, okay, that's not going to work for me exactly the same. So I now to change the way I'm thinking about what I'm doing. This is me not getting old. This is all that is happening is my body is working through this shift, and I need to move with the shift so that I can come out the other end of it with my body looking and feeling as I wanted. It's a reconnection to brain and body.
That's an amazing perspective. I really like that. So for someone that's listening to this, either live or later in replay, that you're going to go through this period of time where your body's going to undergo a shift. And your plan is that you got to get ahead of it, do everything that you can, but also kind of a form of acceptance that, things are going to be different, but I'm going to get to the other side of this thing and things are going to be fine. Is that part of the mindset? Good.
That's part of the mindset. You've got to have that. And there's perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So perimenopause can I think it's 7 years that you can be in perimenopause for up to about 7 years, maybe shorter, maybe longer. It's the sliding scale for different women. And this is the time, as soon as you start to feel the shift, this is when you want to jump on and start looking at, oh my gosh, what's going on with my body? I need to study. I need to listen to my body. Because the human body will tell you what it feels, and then it will tell you when it has what it needs. Right? It will tell you when it has what it needs. So that perimenopause phase is that getting to know, that time where you want to be, self-aware and really start to reconnect. Because menopause is just one day. Okay, so that you've got 365 days, which would be, let's just do a framework, because that's the end of the 7 years day. So you've got a framework and you've got 365 days. On that 365th day, and there's no more, you haven't had any periods for 364 days, the 365 days is menopause. The next day, you are postmenopause.
So it's only one day. Okay.
It's only one day, right? So all the days before then, it's preparing for it, but it is having no periods for 12 months, and on that 365th day, that's menopause. So menopause actually is only one day. So perimenopause is when the shift starts happening. Menopause is that one day, and then after that, it's postmenopause. But here's the thing, and this is the message that I want to shout from the rooftops. Menopause simply means no more periods. No more periods. But the aging process continues.
Right.
For men and women, the aging process continues. So you're not going to all of a sudden, after that 365th day, just be status quo and things are going to stay the same. That is just not the truth. Because if you go through this perimenopausal phase and use it as a time to connect, reconnect, be self-aware, discover what your body needs and how it's going to work, you can then take that information and grow with your body as you age, because every year from that point onwards, the aging process is a downhill slope unless we take control of it.
Wow. How do you do that?
But here's the thing. The human body is this magnificent machine. The brain is the stupid brain, but it's the genius brain, and it wants to be healthy. So when we give the body what it wants, it will respond immediately.
Wow.
So it's all about opening on. Oh, I don't like to exercise. Too friggin' bad. Do you like to feel unfit, fat, flabby, fatigued, fed up? Because you've got a choice. It's just a choice. Sleep is essential. A lot of people, as they get over the 60 mark, say, oh, I don't need to sleep. Well, that's not true either. Sleep is essential for recovery, absolutely essential for recovery. Managing stressors in life, essential for recovery. The more stressors that we react or respond to, the more cortisol the body releases, and cortisol is necessary, essential, but when there's too much of it, it's toxic.
Yeah.
So this is aging, and for women who are experiencing extreme menopause symptoms, it can increase the symptoms because of the toxicity level in cortisol. So very simple formula: keep it clean. Clean thoughts, clean air, clean water, clean food, and keep it all nice and clean. The body likes clean. If you can't see what's in the food, don't eat it. Don't eat. Drink water that is more purified than from the tap. Depending on where you live. But I don't drink tap water where we are. It's got fluoride in it. Don't drink it. So a lot of this is a beliefs, but they're beliefs that I have lived with. And it's proven, I'm now 60, and I am medication free, healthy as a horse, zero issues, zero pain, and energy to burn.
Wow.
So, you know, I'm walking testament to what we do actually works.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, you to me just seem very exceptional. Can you tell us about like an average person that's been on your program and what they've experienced?
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Okay, I never. Well, I don't think anybody's really average, but maybe somebody who hasn't had the lifestyle of health and fitness is what I've had.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's just starting off. I look at three different types of people. There's my group of people that we're really quite, got this mindset that, I mean, I wake up in the morning and think about what exercise am I going to do, not am I going to exercise. If there's a choice between organic food and non-organic food, I'll always do the organic. Okay, so I'm wired for this. I don't need to think about doing this. I love food. I love chocolate. Love chips. Love food, and I can be an emotional eater. So I've got to be mindful of that because we all have our weaknesses, right? And then sometimes it's like, don't care that I'm going to sit and watch a movie and eat a liter of ice cream. Too bad. I'll be good tomorrow. And that mindset works as long as it's just a sometimes thing and not an everyday thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So people, number one is to open the mind. We've got to open their mind to just really know that this is just a time of awareness. It's not scary. You're not sick. You just need to start to treat this with a bit more respect. And we're going to show you exactly how to do it. And then it's just one step at a time. What is the one thing? And identifying what they don't want to do. It's like exercise, Do you like to exercise? No. Okay, then. But if you were to exercise, do you like to do it by yourself? Do you like to do it with a friend, in a group, with a trainer, from the TV, in the lounge, on an app? There's so many different options. So identify how you like to do it and then take one step at a time to do it. Now, I developed a program once. It was called the 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 rule. And this is for people that needed to lose a few kilos, didn't like to exercise, and were really unmotivated, but necessary to do so that they could feel better and live an active life. Function in life. Some woman that's just functioning in life, being able to go to work and keep up with the younger woman and why is aging for a man distinguishing? And graying for a man is distinguishing, and friggin' aging for a woman, right? It's just like, but one of the problems that we identified within the professional world is that a lot of women, because of this slowing down process, mentally and physically, the brain fog and just the brain not being switched on at that peak performance, and then the body fat going up and the energy going down, a lot of these professional women were feeling lacking confidence. And even though they still had the ability to perform in their job, their brain and their body is letting them down. So they're threatened by the younger woman and the successful guy, okay, and embarrassed because they can't wear the clothes that they used to be able to wear.
Right.
So
yeah.
So now they're covering up because they don't want to. So there's a lot of these called peripheral problems. So we have to identify what they are, and then we just make a starting point. Step 1, step 2, step 3. This 10 by 10 by 10 program was very simple. For 10 days, set the alarm and then turn it off on the 10th day. Turn it off every day, knowing that on the 10th day, you're going to get up in the morning and do something. Now, I had a client. Now, this was a male client, and he had a big stomach because it's called andropause in men, Casey. Andropause. So this man was andropause. So he was going through andropause. He had the big tummy, pulsating nose, onset diabetes, and his wife had been married for 3 years, and his wife was a beautiful blonde. And she said to me, what am I going to do? She said, I want to travel the world and have fun with this man. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. This is a slightly off topic, but very, very important and relevant to ultimate health and happiness. I said, did you talk about values before you got married? Did you talk about the fact that being fit, strong, and healthy is a value of yours? And she said, no, it never came up. And when I spoke to him later, he just said, well, why should I bother? She loves me just as I am. So I said, okay, well, you're a smart man. You're a smart man. You know that you've got to do something. So I said to her, what is one thing that you can do? And this is, think about this. If you're listening to this, think about this. What is one thing that you need to do that, you know, if you did it, you're doing it is greater than not doing it for you. So what she did is she shut the bedroom door and said, the bedroom door is staying closed until you get yourself healthier. So that was his extrinsic motivation. Okay. So then I set him on this program. So for 10 days, turn off the alarm, and on the 10th day, knowing he has to get up. The only thing he would do was sit on a bike. So I got him to hire a bike. And that took him 6 weeks to do. Nobody else could hire the bike for him. He had to do it himself. Tasking is so essential. So it took him 10 days. We had the bike set up strategically in his lounge room. And on the 10th day, turned off the alarm, had a pee, had a glass of water, jumped on his bike for 10 minutes only. Because you need to get the unconscious working.
Yeah.
Okay? So he did that for 10 days. He did, and I've had lots of women do this program as well. This is just one story that came to mind. He did that for 10 days. After the 10 days, he increased it to 20 minutes a day for 10 days. Then after that, it was another 10 minutes. So by the end of 30 days, he was sitting on this bike comfortably. He'd lost 10 kilos, and the body then starts to respond to the exercise. The unconscious body is going, I like this. The body likes to be healthy, remember? So the unconscious body is going, I like this. And because the body's feeling better, that then became an intrinsic motivation for him to get out of bed and do it. And to this day, he's still trim and terrific.
Wonderful. That's really cool. You know, I could really identify with that story. It relates a little bit to how we met in that same gym where I met all those young people in their 20s that I attended my first, I think I've attended there now 5 or 6 years, but my first 2 years there, I just went and paid for a membership because they had the massage equipment. So they had the aqua beds and they had the massage chairs and stuff. And I solely went and just got a massage because my back hurt. And it wasn't until like 2 years later that I was like, you know, if I did a little bit of exercise, particularly on those muscles in my back would probably feel better. And so I did. And I would just do, I mean, I'm talking about like 3 minutes, you know, of doing the back exercises. And sure enough, you know, I was sleeping better. My back felt better. And then I got, you know, I was like, well, I'd like to improve this area. And then COVID came around and then during COVID, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take myself off sugar. And I lost almost 30 pounds during that time. But I was ready for something a little bit more drastic, but only because of, like you just suggested, these little baby steps to get there. You know, humans resist change so much. So I love that plan. Just set an alarm clock. Don't do anything, but just set the, you know, step one, you know, and get used to that change and then implement another step. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's programming the unconscious.
Yeah.
You see, everything that we do has to be programmed unconsciously. If we want it to become a habit, it has to be programmed unconsciously. So we can tell ourselves, you know, I'm going to get out of bed and get on the bike for 10 minutes. I don't want to. Okay, don't.
Too much. That's sudden.
So I created that program when I was when I was working, you know, traveling Australia, working on the menopause, because weight gain is one of the biggest problems that every woman and every man over 40 and 50 experience. So I thought, okay, we need to find a way to motivate. Now, for women that are exercising and not getting the result that they want, then they need to stop and reevaluate what's going on in their body, listen to their body, and then adjust accordingly. And one really great way to do that is to assess the warm-up. So you go out for a walk, you know, some days you can get out for a walk and you do a 5 or 10 minute warm-up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's the exercise, I can go home now, because there isn't the energy to do it, right? But so you assess that energy. So if after a warm-up, always do a warm-up phase where you're just cruising, you're breathing, you're getting oxygen in the lungs, you're getting the blood flowing in the body. And if you're feeling good after that, then you know that you've got the energy and you push the body a little bit.
Mm, mm.
Okay, and always work on the 1% overload. So assess the energy either, and again, it doesn't matter where the energy is. Always use that 1% overload. But if you're if you're in cruise mode because the body's tired, then you just push it a little bit. But if you've got lots of energy and the blood's flowing and oh my gosh, and then you just power it, hit the hills, do a little jog, but work with the energy the body has. So you're going to get a positive response to the exercise.
Wow. Have you found it beneficial to involve other people, like as a motivator?
Well, that depends on who you are. See, I don't need other people to motivate. Exercise to me has never been a social thing. I like to, when I was teaching a course, but for me, I like to do it by myself. But for some other people, yes, that's what I said in the beginning. It's all about identifying who are you. Do you like to do it in a group by somebody else, with a trainer, online? Identify how you like to exercise and then just go do it.
That's good. That's good. I'm an introvert, and so usually that's my MO, is I like to do things like that by myself.
Yes.
However, I found that my biggest gains in working out and increasing my weights, increasing my biceps and pecs and everything, involved other people. Their feedback, their challenges, their encouragement. that really took me to another level. Even though I'm an introvert personality style, so that kind of surprised me.
Well, I think that I used to get spotted when I was doing a lot of weight training, because so I used to work. But when I first went to my first gym, they gave me a little weight, just a little weight, and here I am just doing this tricep kickback with a little teeny weight, and next to me was this guy with a big weight doing exactly the same exercise. and I remember thinking, I want to do that. So
yeah.
I always trained in the men's gym because I felt I was motivated by the energy that a man had, rather than going to the women's gym that were happy with the little 5 kilo weight.
That's good.
But
I like that.
That's it. You got to find your own piece. Another thing that's essential is there's three parts to it. Is that movement is absolutely essential for good health. Think of the body as a machine. Every joint, every movement in the body has to have that energy moving through it, and that's internal and external. We can see some of the joints, but the shoulder joint, for example, has got 5 joints within the one joint.
Wow.
And we can't see those 5 joints. So the body has to move. We need to get blood flowing through the whole body. So movement is essential. The next is exercise, and exercise has to be fun. Now, one of our P's in the program is called the prescription of exercise, which means that we prescribe an exercise program specific to your need and your outcome. Okay, so for somebody who is very sedentary, then the first phase of that is just going to be moving more. Just get the body moving. Okay, so then it's exercise. What do you enjoy doing? Because exercise has to be fun, and that could be kicking a ball outside with your kids or grandkids. It could be walking on the beach. It could be swimming or cycling or playing netball. Whatever it is, exercise needs to be fun, using all the muscles in the body, and it has to be fun. Training is going to change your body. Training will change your body, and training is a specific plan tailored for an outcome. So that could be weight loss. Okay, I want to lose 10 kilos. So, okay, here's the plan to follow so you can lose 10 kilos. I want to lift my butt. Okay, here's the plan to follow so you can have a tight lifted butt. I want a 6-pack. Okay, here's the plan to follow so that you can have a 6-pack. So shaping the body and working with the body is no different to achieving any other goal. See the outcome, reverse engineer it, and put a plan in place to follow.
Nice, really good.
And if it's well-being, I just need to feel better. I want to sleep better, and I need to just have more energy. Then we do a balanced program with a little bit of all of the above in it. People say, which is the best exercise to do? Well, okay, let's look at that. You need to be flexible. So you want to have a stretching program. You need to be strong. Lean muscle is the engine to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Engine to your body. It is the engine to your body. Let me say that again. It is the engine to your body. Lean muscle is one of the most essential components of the wellness 40 plus workout, or if you're going through menopause, but it is the most essential component for any human being over 40, 50, and 60. Lean muscle moves nutrients through the body, so the cells are getting more nutrients. Lean muscle removes toxins from the body. Lean muscle is active. It's active, so it burns calories every moment. So if you're exercising and you have a training program and you're doing it within it at least every second day, then that training effect, that effect in the muscles is continual. But see, what people do is they'll do some, stop. I'll go next week. So they lose that, what they call the training effect.
Mm.
So lean muscle, it supports the body. It supports all the skeletal system. It moves the skeletal system. And let's face it, it looks better than fat.
Yeah, it does. I think we all agree with you there.
You know, there's nothing. It's amazing how you can see a slim man and a slim woman, and they've got a saggy bum.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you are. All human beings' muscles need to be strong, and all muscle does is grow and shrink. So people say muscle turn to fat. No, muscle doesn't turn to fat. Muscle shrinks, and it's replaced by a higher percentage of fat.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
So if going through menopause or andropause for men, and we're losing a pound of muscle a year, and we're not doing any of what we're talking about, what's happening? The metabolism, remember I said in the beginning, all of our systems slow down. So the metabolism is slowing down. The energy production is on, like, this is the energy production rather than, okay, off we go. So everything is slowing down. Of course, everybody gets fatter.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, but we've got to just find that starting point and go with it. The conversation between organic and non-organic. Gut health is essential. Gut health is essential. So now we have the purpose of nutrition, because there is healing power in food. So the gut is the center of health. I call it the center of health. The 70% of the immune system is in the gut. The microbiome in the gut is necessary for ultimate health and wellness throughout the whole body. So how do we get a healthy gut? The gut has, all the organs of the body have membrane to protect it, and the gut is no different. So when people have too much alcohol, too much sugar, processed foods, cigarettes, stressors, no exercise, no connecting with Mother Nature, hug a tree occasionally, lie in the sand, eat clean dirt. I mean, all of this stuff helps our gut get healthier.
Wow.
And when we have a healthy gut, everything else in the body works better. I look at the immune system like a spider web. That little spider. I used to have a property, and I used to sit on my balcony some evenings, and I'd watch this little black spider build this beautiful web. And in the morning it was gone. And at 5:30 every evening, there she was again building this web. And I look at that, the immune system being the same. That it starts because the immune system isn't an organ, but it has this web-like effect that spreads through the body. And it starts in the gut. So that means we have to have good healthy fats, and healthy fats need to be, if you can, organic, because they have less metals in them, and they're just healthier for you. It's the same with green vegetables and lots of fiber. We want lots of fiber, and lots of fiber is in all the fruits and vegetables, and the better quality complex carbohydrates, quinoa, brown rice, good quality oats. These are all high fiber. And think about fiber as being like the body's vacuum cleaner. Fiber sort of gets all the crap and gets rid of it.
That's good. So when you started, you became a menopause expert. Like, how long ago was that? And then what I'd love for you to do is tell us about a little bit more about what you did back then. But also, is there a difference in the way that menopause, I think, has always been kind of a taboo topic? Do you think people are more open about it now?
10 years ago it was. 10 years ago it definitely was. 10 years ago is when we took it around Australia.
Oh.
And it's no different today. We still have that. We still work with the same program. We've rebranded it because I still use the program myself.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying to you. It's not, menopause is just that one day, but aging continues afterwards, and the program works forever. You just follow it. Now, I don't have any symptoms of any sort. Oh, I have to be completely honest. I used to be able to run without a bra. Now I have a cleavage. Something we have to accept. No matter how hard, doesn't matter how many push-ups I do, doesn't matter how many times I box the bag, these boobs aren't going anywhere. And that just was a slow thing. But I woke up one morning and thought, God, what's going on? And then they just kept on growing. So some things we have to accept, and that's, of course, where the coaching comes in.
Yeah.
And I've coached many women through having to accept the new shape of their body.
Yeah.
That's the big one. Coaching through coping with the new shape of your body. And it's always good to see the flip side, So for me, and I've helped a lot of women understand this, is that God gave me boobs. A lot of women sadly lose their boobs, and a lot of women pay thousands of dollars to have them. God gave me mine. I got to be grateful.
Yeah.
That's my reframe. And so I've helped a lot of women, accept that same thing. But I will never go up a size in jeans, Casey. And I've still got jeans that I can wear that I wore 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Now, the body shape changes. So the body fat is higher than what it was 20 years ago, but the jeans still fit because of everything we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you're working in it. That's great. Good.
Yeah.
Now, you had a lot of people in your program, didn't you? And especially,
we had 5,000. We had 5,000 women online, and we held workshops. We didn't go to Western Australia, but we held workshops all down the East Coast, and we went inland a lot as well. So yeah, we were helping a lot of women.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And, we were helping a lot of women. Yeah.
And you're really active in menopause today. In fact, earlier you're telling me about some speaking you've been doing. Is that right?
Well, you know what? It just sort of popped up because there was one woman that we met here that had known my story, and she's got like thousands of women in this group that are all menopausal. So she said, "Oh, Susie, will you come and talk to them?" And I said, "Sure." And then I was asked to also speak in a group in England. So it's like, okay. And so I looked at Caroline and said, we're got to bring out the menopause program out of the cloud. We've got to get out there and help more women because, it's talked about now where it wasn't talked about 10 years ago, Casey. It's a subject now. Companies are bringing in, programs to help women in business really manage menopause better. It is a topic now that's recognized as a problem, and then people are out there looking for ways to help either themselves or their team or their staff.
Wow. Well, we're coming up on the hour, and I was just wondering, someone listening might be interested in, okay, how do I find out more about this program?
You can put the link in the chat there, or you can contact you personally, or you can contact me personally.
Very good.
And we can share through it. Yeah. You know what? To just have a conversation with me. Susan Sheehan is my name. Susan Sheehan Speaker is my online handle. If you just want to have a conversation, message me, WhatsApp me, and we can just have a conversation and get you started on the plan. It's just having a plan to follow. And that's what the wellness 40 plus workout is. It is your own personal plan to follow that encompasses all of these 7 principles, working at your level so that you can grow into having a healthy, happy body forever.
Wow. That's excellent. Very good. Very good. Well, what kind of wrap ups do you have for us? What, like if someone is struggling with what they think they need to do, and they're hearing advice from lots of different angles, and I'm sure that your stories have been encouraging to them. What are the first steps for them? What do you think they should do?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy, right? I mean, and there's myriads of methods: doctor's diagnosis, pills, potions, therapist theories, and now AI.
Yeah,
So,
I like it.
so of course it's confusing. It's so confusing, and I guess it's a lot of people are out there. And I'm not saying that all of this is not valuable, because there's a lot of value in everything that I just said.
Right.
Myriads of methods, doctor's diagnosis. There's a place for all of it. But I've always looked at us as being holistic beings. And so the program that we work with is all based on science. So neuroscience for the mind and the science of epigenetics for the body.
Mm.
So we literally have a one-stop, one solution that can really help your brain and your body connect and give you the health and wellness that you need. And you just have to want to be healthier than not. Just like that, right? Isn't it?
Wow.
You want to
Well,
be healthier.
your story is very encouraging. You obviously look amazing for a 60-year-old, right? or younger.
Oh, well,
And
you know what? Age to me is just a number. How my body functions is important to me.
nice.
And I'm also a New York trained Pilates, so I do some Pilates every single day, and
Mm.
it's we've got to connect our brain to our body. But so I'm not talking about an hour session every day. Some days I might just do 10 minutes, but I'm always every day I think about what can I do to give my body something today so it's going to feel good.
Yes.
And so it has to become the daily awareness of treating this with love and respect.
Mm. That's beautiful.
And
Excellent.
you can, if you're listening to this, you can do it. You just got to find your starting point. Find the starting point and grow with it.
I like it. That's really good. Wonderful. Well, Susan, it has been just so great chatting with you. I always love talking with you anyway.
I probably
You're
talk too much. I always talk too much. But
you are very good at talking. But you're a very generous person, and I'll never forget, how you helped out the crew, back in the day. And so that's just she's really a doll, y'all, and she can help you. She's an excellent coach, and so check out.
I've been in places and tried not to talk, and I really have been in places where I have tried not to talk. You go to a networking event or you're at dinner or something, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to talk today, because I can actually be very controlled. And then I've come away thinking, somebody's got to talk. If nobody talks, then what's the point, right?
So you've never been successful at not talking. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, I've never been successful. I've never been successful in being quiet for a long period of time. But I have trained my brain to be still. So there are times when I can be very still, very controlled, when the time needs. But I find that when I'm sharing information that's going to help people, I find that my brain just goes on autopilot. Okay, come back, shut up, stop talking now. Just
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks again, Susan. I really appreciate it. Any final remarks? We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a great one. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.